How about that? We'll call this meeting to order of the Breckenridge, Texas City Commission to order at 5:32. We'll have our invocation by Andy Rogers, First Baptist Church, and then let Stacy lead us in the pledge after that. Go with me.
Let's pray. Father, we come to you very thankful, Lord, for the rain, and we pray for more. Lord, we thank you for the constant reminder that you are above all things, and that we rely on you to supply all that we need. And so, Father, we trust in you for more rain, and Father, we continue to trust in you that you would provide what we need for this community. And Lord, we just thank you for the leadership that you've placed in these various roles. Father, give them wisdom, give them discernment. Father, give them the ability to serve our community well, and Lord, to lead it to prosperity, to lead it to success. Father, to lead in a way that brings honor and glory to you. Father, we continue to pray for the war in Israel. We pray for peace. We pray for protection for all involved. And Lord, we pray for protection right here in our own community. Lord, keep us safe. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Stacy. Let's see here. Looks like our next item is going to be open forum. Do we have anyone?
No one's speaking for open.
No one signed up for open forum. So, or do we need to check Facebook? City manager. We'll have the report from Cynthia.
Okay. Thank you, commissioners. I wanted to give you an update on the street improvements project. You can see from the slide right here, the streets that are completed are Rose, Elliott, and 7th, and we did the intersections along each of those roadways. The intersections that are completed, that are standalone intersection improvements, were Harvey and Elm, Harvey and Williams, Harvey and Hullum, Miller and 2nd, Miller and 1st, which are up by the school, and then Pecan and 1st. You will notice that Harvey and Wheeler intersection was also done, but that is not one that was on the list. So Radon is obviously not charging us for that one. So that was a miscommunication, I guess, on their part. So it ended up to our benefits. The intersections to be completed are Hartford and Hullum, and that's over by the hospital. Live Oak and Elm, and Smith and Wheeler. So, and then the striping. So everywhere there's a stop sign, there will be a solid bar stripe on the road. And then by South Elementary on the west side, there will be a pedestrian crosswalk as well that will be painted. And then the curves in the road. So there is a curve on Elliott, west of South Parks. Just on that hill where it curves. So we're going to do a center line stripe there. And then we're also going to do one on Rose out here, get my directions correct. And that will be between, I believe it's 1st and 2nd, basically where there's a curve there. And then also included is the downtown parking. And this, the Breckenridge Downtown Development Council had mentioned this several months ago. About the faded striping for downtown parking. So we included that here in this project. These will be complete, hopefully, now that we've got the rain next week, when the rain clears out. I'm hoping the weather holds, because if it gets too cold, you know, that impacts it. So these are all the completion of the program is gonna be weather dependent. I did want to just give you a little update on Live Oak and Elm. That intersection is just one block north of Walker, as you all know. And it's, you know, basically one block south of where TxDOT is doing the bridge replacement project. Just there at Dyer, and then south at the Walker. Well, I guess everybody calls it the T-run of the Consolas Creek, but that's where that is. So that project, the end of it, between the end of it and the end of the intersection improvements on Live Oak to the south, in between, there's about 170 feet. So we were able to work with TxDOT. We kind of killed two birds with one stone, just to give you the details. There was a manhole there on the east side, just south of that bridge that they're redoing. And they were planning for sidewalk improvements to continue down to the south there, but that manhole is also a T intersection. So to move that in the middle of this project was just not feasible at all and very expensive. So what they were able to do is just stop the sidewalk at the bridge. That project savings, they are using to pave 100 feet of that 170 feet south of that project. And then we will pick up that 70 feet. So that essentially from Dyer, just past the intersection at Elm, will be fully asphalted. And Radon is their subcontractor, and of course Radon's ours, so it works well. But that's what we've been waiting on, is that bridge to cure. The concrete, they poured it a couple weeks ago, week and a half ago, and we've been waiting on that to cure. And they have to have enough quantities to, you know, do an order. So that's what we've been waiting on. We did have some, and I let you guys know this, we did have some complaints about the driveway intersections with the roadway. We have to maintain positive drainage. Obviously, if we were going to fully engineer a road, it'd be $6 million like Parks was, and we would engineer all of those ingress egress points. But this is, you know, this is an asphalt overlay, so for each road, I mean, it's around, it varies, but we'll say an average of 300,000 versus 6 million. But Radon did come back and they tamped down some of those approaches to address some complaints that we've had from some citizens up on 7th. And that's where we're at with the street improvement project. The other item, next item I wanted to talk about, we kind of talked about this all through budget, but I really wanted to focus in on the PD salary attrition. And attrition, just as a reminder, is that difference. If you look on that last column on the right, we budgeted $1,020,000 essentially for PD salaries, and we only used 180,000. So that difference is 140. That's attrition. So that is employees that we didn't have covering those positions during that time frame. So you can see we went back into the history of what that salary attrition has been, and that's been a challenge with us. Really, I think with even in the private industry, you know, holding on to employees has been a challenge. And so we have been the same. I think obviously our pay schedule has been a challenge. And we have done quite a bit to address that internally and externally. I mean, last year you all gave, you know, 3% increases. There were some equity adjustments mid-year. And of course, this year you all did the same. So we're making improvements in the water department, for water, wastewater department, for example. Today we're just short 2, where, I mean, like 3 weeks ago, we had, you know, 3 people in that department. So we have been filling those positions. Our street department is full. So that's good. And our waste water treatment plant, A short one, but that is good because remember, we were going to cut that position anyway and then move that person to another department, but there was just regular an employee resigned. But I wanted to focus on PD. So and I was hoping the chief could be here, and he said he would be unless he got a call because he is patrolling, because that's how short they are lately. The last couple of months, he's been literally patrolling quite a bit. But I have got with him, basically came up with a creative approach that is within budget to address this challenge. If you want to go to the next slide, we talk about, you've seen this slide. We talked about just how far behind we are in our salaries. And this is TML every year does salary surveys statewide with all the cities. Not that all cities participate, but enough participate that we can go in and choose like cities in population, like cities in geographical locations that are similar to us. And that's what we've done. And you've seen this before, but I just wanted to point out the police officer. What I'm proposing, what we've already done, and it is in budget, will bring us up comparable to local. It basically brings that starting salary wage up to $50,500 from 43. That is, Eastland is right around 50,000, Graham is right around 50,000. And of course, I know you guys know with the sheriff's department, that's been a real challenge when they pay more and we lose employees, to the sheriff's office. And with the compliment that they got, the supplement, I should say, that they got from the state, they're going to be right around, the deputies will be right around 50. So we shouldn't have the problem of losing other employees to other agencies. And if you'll show the next one. So what we're doing, because we've had all these unfunded in the attrition, we've had all these unfunded positions. We have 11 positions for police officers. So we've reduced it to 10. And we're taking that one and redistributing it between our officers and captains and sergeants. And again, this is all in budget as we go forward. And hopefully this will attract people to apply and on board with us here in Breckenridge. And we would bring budget amendments to you at that time. So I just wanted to show you what we were doing, and we're thinking outside the box, being creative and working with what we have right now. Again, this is within budget. Now, if we ever get, they haven't, if you'll go back to that attrition, so they haven't been, I think you see, is that 2018, 2019? We were, that's about the only time we had all our positions full. In the last several years from 2016, 2017 on. So if we get to the point where we need to, we may come back and try to see if we can't get that position back, but we'll take that, as it comes. So that's where we are with that. And on the department heads reports, I really wanted to, I know you guys hear us talking about this a lot, and I know you guys hear it from citizens a lot. But I really kind of wanted to focus on the state of our public works system, our water, wastewater system. So what we've done, if you go to the next slide, the challenges of an aging water, wastewater system. So this is from our work management program called iWorks, and you can see the water leaks that we have on a monthly basis. And compare those to last year. We are, you can see just in June, July, August, September is just gone crazy. Well, even in January, the only time it didn't was about May. So, on the one hand, I do believe that we've got systems and procedures and differences in operation in place that we're making progress. And some of those are basically we're trying to fix bigger sections of the pipe that were coming up instead of just putting clamps on everything and then, put a clamp here and then it pops here and put a clamp there, it pops there. So this last year, we used a local contractor, contracted it out because we're short staffed, and we did some repairs to a longer section on 6th Street and on 3rd Street and on McCamus. We are working with the engineers to bring forward a 5-year CIP program to address some more changes that need to take place. With the wastewater rate increase, we can see how those funds are building up for us to be able to do some of these improvements. So that's coming down the pike. I think the challenge a couple of the things with the challenges, I've been here a year, but one thing I think it's not just aging infrastructure. I mean, we have pipes in the ground that are 80 to 100 years old, and that's no joke. And Todd can tell you stories about that, and I know Houston told you stories about that in the past. But it's not just that. Remember, Breckenridge is a boom town. So we have infrastructure that services 30,000 people, but we only have 5,000 people here. So we've got them, and what that means is a lot of mileage of pipe. And the revenue then, because remember, this is like an enterprise system, it's like a business, so the revenue is way down, but the demand is still there and it's aging, so now we've got to replace it. I did put together a couple of other graphics, and I know this is hard to see, and I will send this to you. Just finished it up today, but I will send this to you, but there are red dots all along this map. So what we did was, this is just the last 5 months. All those red dots represent a water leak. It's just water, not anything else. And what this is going to help us do is to put together that CIP program to look at. I mean, we already know Wheeler, west of 183 is really the next project that needs to be looked at. So we're working with our engineers, and if you go to the next slide, just for grins, not that one, not the one before that is a whole year. Okay, so that's for the last year, all those red dots. That is a lot of money and a lot of resources. And so you can see why we, departmentally, why we feel like we're just kind of chasing our tails. And that's why we kind of changed operations of how we're looking at things and fixing things bigger, longer stretches when we do have issues to address as much as we can. Now we do have, just to remind you, there's hope on the horizon. There's going to be a lot of construction going in the next year with our TWD project. So basically that money, we're looking at about $7 million that we're going to be spending on our wastewater treatment plant and water treatment plant. These are the water lines right now that are slated for improvements. And I know that map is hard to read, but essentially in the lower southeastern quadrant, that's Wheeler on the bottom. And then right above Walker is Elm. And then you've got Butte. And then on the west of 183, you've got West Elm, which again is 1 block north of Walker. And then 1 block south of Walker, you have Williams. And then there's Dairy on the end. McCamus is on this, but again, we've already done that last year. It was just a short section, so we were able to get that in. So we do have, some projects that will be underway. They've been in design for the last year, and so there is hope in the horizon, and I think we're on the right track. But I really just, it's a tall order. There's, it's just being short-staffed. They're expensive. And we have a lot of mileage of pipe that has to be replaced. So it's a tall order, but Todd's doing a great job with that department and bringing it up to speed. So there's a challenge there, but we do have a solution, and we've got more solutions that will be putting on And then we want, you guys see this every month because we provide this, and I'm only gonna highlight a couple of the department head reports, even though you get them all in the packet. I just want you to notice some of the figures on there. You can see where our balance compared to last year, we're in a much better place this year, with our balances in our bank accounts. You can see the general fund, we're to the positive about 500,000, and honestly, our water and wastewater funds, those are two separate funds, about the same amount. Now, keep in mind on the water wastewater side, when we did those rate increases, there were several things implied that we were going to be funding with that. So we are going to be, the water wastewater fund will be funding the debt, and most of that debt, 95% of that debt is all water wastewater related. It also assumed market increases, and we were able to do some mid-year adjustments in the water wastewater department last year. It assumed dump trucks and backhoes. So those are some of the things that were assumed in that. You'll also see there's a new line with Logic with the certificates of obligation towards the bottom, that 8.6 million. So you'll see that, and we'll have project updates for you on a quarterly basis, where we're at with some of those projects. You already know that we've got a new park in progress, 350,000. And then we're working on some grants with our grant consultant, that will be bringing a proposal for you guys to look at. I'm not promising anything, but looking at potentially remodeling the baby pool into a splash pad. And then some other improvements. We've already done lighting at the Booker T Park. We've got Foundation Park improvements slated. We were hoping we could get some of those done before the Christmas tree lighting, but we're waiting on turf, and then one thing begets another, so but those will be coming. So a lot of exciting things are happening. We're also, just to let you know, planning an open house in the first part of January, just to highlight. It's all good that all of these construction things are coming up, but then construction is a disruption, so we definitely want to let everybody know that good things are happening, but there will be some growing pains as we go through the construction. I want to give them a heads up on it. And then I just wanted to give you a final on the sales tax. Here's a history of it, and you can just see that it is gradually growing. In fiscal year 2020, you see it at 1.7, and then it goes to 1.9. 2.2, and then this last year it was 2.3. Now, in the last budget, we projected it a little bit high, and I tend to be more conservative in my projections, which is what you see in this year's budget. It's definitely much more conservative, and that way, if it goes above that, that's gravy, and that's great. So that's what you see, and then the next one is just the graphic of that same information. But it just wanted you to see that years in that history of the sales tax. It is growing, so it's trending up. That's good. And that's it for the reports. These are just some events that are coming up. We're partnering with the chamber this year. They always have the Walker Street trick or treat. And they will still have that, but to complement that, the county and the city and the chamber are working together to host the first annual Family Fall Festival. So we're excited about that. That does include street closures, and you'll see that on the map in your packet. And then just to let you know that the Chamber of Commerce is coming up on the 4th, that will be held out at the Elks Lodge. Starting at 6 p.m. in the city, as normal. We'll be sponsoring that event, so if you guys are wanting to attend, let us know. We'll have a table. That's what we got. And then what we wanted to do was the employee of the month. One of the things we've really taken a lot of effort internally with our employees to create a positive environment here in the city of Breckenridge, and the strategic planning was a part of that. Our core values, we created an employees relations committee. And what that does, that helps bring ownership. So we say, hey, what do you guys want to see? Are there policy changes you would want to see? That's something else. They meet quarterly and they take the time to look at that. They're also planning events. We have a monthly birthday where we celebrate our birthdays and things like that. But couple of the new things, we just want to highlight our employees, and we have great employees. None of this would be possible unless we had great employees, and we do. So I'm very thankful for that. But each department will highlight an employee of the month, and it will go from department to department, and the department head will recognize that person. So we're happy to be able to Parks Department and Cemetery Public Services, I should say, was the first department. And so I'm gonna let Stacy take it over and tell you about. I think everybody knows Gordy. He's been here probably as long as Stacy, longer, I don't know. Everybody knows Gordy.
I'm gonna bring Gordy up here and, let's see. The speech was, about 3 hours, but we cut it down just a little.
Thank you very much.
Gordy started working for the city back in 1991 as a labor and grounds maintenance technician in the cemetery. Doing the math, Gordy served the city for 32 years in our cemetery and parks. He's a dedicated, upbeat self-starter that always does his best to get the job done. Gordy now is our only full-time employee in the cemetery, maintaining over 12,000 graves. And like she said, Gordy knows everybody and everybody knows Gordy. No one is a stranger. We thank Gordy for his institutional knowledge that is valuable in our daily operations. And for me, he's an exemplary employee that makes my job easy, makes my job fun to come to work. I'm blessed with the department and the employees that I have.
He's stretching it a little bit.
But, Gordy does a great job, and anytime we need to call on him to do stuff in the park or cemetery, he does that. A few fun facts about Gordy is Gordy loves a good restaurant. Gordy loves a good festival. He's world traveled from New York to Jamaica and a few other spots. He used to moonlight as a car repo man. He would come and repo your car.
With help, with.
But anyway, Gordy, we are designating you our October Employee of the Month. And for demonstrating the core values every day, and together we are building a community where everyone can thrive. And Gordy, I'd like to present you with this certificate, and also on the back there is a gift certificate to Subway for a good meal.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, well, if you want to go around.
Yep, there you go.
All right.
And just another fun fact, the city employees that are in the room tonight have put in somewhere in a combined 130 years of service. So pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stacy. Congratulations.
Thank y'all. I couldn't do it by myself.
We appreciate you. Definitely. That's awesome. Have that upkeep and to put in that time and all that. That's pretty mind blowing, but also makes me very appreciative. So we appreciate you. All right, we'll move on to our consent agenda item. items 4 through 6, please review the items and make one motion unless you'd like to take any item up for individual discussion.
I move to approve consent agenda items 4 through 6 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we present the consent agenda items. Is there any discussion? No discussion. We'll proceed to vote. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Consent agenda items pass. Okay, so looks like we're gonna move on to our public hearing. We're gonna open this public hearing at 6:02. There's no discussion on the items. And speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. We have the public hearing regarding whether the buildings on the following properties are dangerous buildings pursuant to Chapter 5, Article 1 of the Breckenridge Code of Ordinances. Looks like the first one is going to be 308 South Pecan. Is there any?
We do have someone to speak to 308 South Pecan. Mr. Donald Ball is here.
Okay, okay. So it is 308 South Pecan for sure. It's on our deal, it says 114, it says parks. We just want to make sure.
In red.
Oh, that's weird.
Okay, just want to make.
Yeah, it is 308 South Pecan. So.
Okay, not a problem. All right,
I am Don Ball, I'm the owner of the property at 308 South Pecan Street. I have no problem agreeing with you that it's a dangerous building, but 2 weeks ago Monday, contractor that I hired started demolishing the building, and he's probably a third, maybe a little bit past demolishing it. So I begged the court to give me 120 days to have the property completely vacated of any structure or debris. Do have the contractor and equipment on site. Demolishing.
we'll get to discuss this later on.
Yes,
down
you're in the action item, but right now we're just going
Alright.
through each.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you, sir. Thanks. Okay, next property is gonna be 806 South Cutting.
There are no speakers for 806.
No speakers on Cutting. 601 North Harvey.
I don't have anyone signed up for 601 North Harvey.
Other speakers for 601 North Harvey. Next one is 1305 West First.
I do not have anyone signed up for 1305 West First.
Next one is 205 West Third.
I do not have anyone signed up for 205 West Third.
Next property is 802 South Cutting.
Yes.
Okay, all right, she's here for the two on the next two on
Yeah,
Petty.
yeah.
802 and 714.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm Robin Robertson, the owner of those properties. I do apologize. They do, I definitely agree, need to be condemned. Due to many reasons, I just have not wanted to deal with those properties due to grief and health. I apologize. I have checked into it and I need to get back with James Wade. I have, talked to, Kenneth over there at Grandpa's in Eastland about renting a D6, to come in for 2 days, clear the structures, and then I'll have to get a backhoe to come in and help clean it up. I would like to ask, your mercy, and for some extended time after the holidays. I am terminally ill. I do take treatments. So, between that and my work, it would be a little bit easier if I could have till after the holidays, at max 6 months, at minimal 4. And I can definitely have both of those properties cleared up. They'll be removed from the property and cleaned up.
Okay, 1107 East Williams.
That's Sonia, what do you care
Yes,
for?
it's me.
1107.
Okay,
Well, she had a, remodel application and she didn't get it turned in time. But she's wanting to see if she can get more time to remodel on this. Did she need to fill out another application? Or what does she need to do to?
she had an application.
She had an application, but she didn't turn it in time.
Okay,
Or I guess they gave her so much time. So does she need to redo the application or what does she need to do?
Not yet.
We'll make a, we'll make a note of that. Not a problem. Eight oh three West Holland,
I do not have any speakers for 803 West Home.
no speakers for 803 West Holland. 1214 West Fourth,
There are no speakers for 1214 West Fourth.
No.
213 Pembroke,
Want to talk, Brian?
I believe
Well,
there's
I didn't
someone
know
here.
if the pickers were here.
There,
I'm sorry?
I didn't know if any of the pickers were here.
No.
you're,
Okay.
what was your name?
My name is Brian Lee.
Brian Lee, okay.
I was the one that moved the house into 213 Pembroke and sold it in January to some investors who were to remodel it and use it as I'm assuming as a rental property. And apparently, she told me she wasn't gonna be here last week. And I guess they're not here this week.
From her this week. No.
Really? So, I hope that this doesn't lead to foreclosure because that wasn't my intent. The reason I sold the property is that I was having trouble, as the city knows, getting work done on the house, you know, in a timely manner. And that's why I sold it initially. And, but you know, if they refuse to respond to the city, then I'll go ahead with that. And then, either resell it or if I can find the people that will.
He's a
work on
lien
that.
holder on the property.
Yeah, I'm lien holder.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
okay. Done. Looks like that's all of our properties, so we'll close this public hearing officially at 6:10 p.m. Okay, we're gonna move our agenda around a little bit on why this guy gets special treatment.
I'm making lots of money.
We'll go ahead and have some discussion and any necessary action regarding the budget amendment to partner with the Stevens County Appraisal District to update mapping on the CAD website.
If any of you have used our interactive map,
Thank you. See you.
You've probably been frustrated. I know Malcolm deals with it a lot and, have run into. This is Chris deals with it a lot. I knew somebody would speak up and be. We've run into some issues where I think we told people to clean up properties and found out it wasn't their property, and the map was wrong. Can you pull that one?
Yeah. Sure.
So this is an example that y'all are dealing with right now. This is, the old,
The old
we
scene.
call it Citizen Center, yeah. And you can see there's not even, it's not even mapped at all. There's no parcel, there's no lot lines. Where the red arrow is pointing to the lot line, that needs to be moved about 30 feet to the south. And then all the rest of those parcels need to be drawn. So that's one example where it's really bad. Another place we've run into this is when we get ready to go to auction. We have people calling me saying, everybody's driving by my house and taking pictures because they think the lot next door is, my house is for sale, but it's really the one next door, not mine. And, nobody's bought the wrong property so far, but it's kind of ugly. So, and I can't explain, Cynthia and I talked about it. Our lot lines and parcels that were drawn 10 years ago in-house, probably. They were drawn on old pictometry. They actually used Google Earth at that time to draw the lines. And when we shifted to new pictometry, everything's offset. So we use a company called BIS out of Dallas to do our GIS work and all these acronyms. So we went back and talked to them, and they're frustrated by it too. So they want it cleaned up too. So they kind of worked a deal with us on this. They'll go in and draw the parcels, which is a parcel is what somebody owns now. It's how it is drawn now. And they'll also add lot lines, which we do not have right now. Lot lines are the original subdivision lines. So you could look at it both ways. How was it platted originally versus, Blake and I are neighbors, and I sold him 10 foot of my lot. That would show as a parcel, but the lot line would still show as well as the original drawings. Subdivisions, which we don't have on our maps right now, which would be a big help to me as I look at properties. Abstracts are there. Those boundaries are off overall across the county. About 10 foot is their offset all the way across the county. That causes some issues from time to time. And then the city limits, which is drawn now, but it's drawn based on the parcels that we have. So it's a little bit skewed to. And any other things we wanted to add: emergency service districts, fire districts, voting districts. Y'all have your pipelines mapped, I think. We can add any of those overlays onto our map. And he said for a very small fee, because they're already going to be shape files. They have to map them, it would be more expensive, but there would be a shape file from somewhere. So we talked about actually combining. Y'all have a city map now that shows certain things. We have talked about combining those two. So when she came to me, it's kind of a split deal. Y'all need it, we need it, BIS needs it. I had them bid this for the county last year, and they gave me an estimate of about $48,000 to do the whole county. We couldn't afford that. Went back this year and just asked them to look inside the city. The city is about a third of the parcels, or a little more. There are 5,000 and 13,000 parcels, so a little more than 30%. But the price they gave us $15,000. We would split that. So I have some surplus money left from previous years. So I put 7,500 in. City put 7,500 in, and they would take. He said minimum 6 months, probably closer to a year to get the whole city done right. But he thought a year at the outside to have it done, and possibly sooner. I have any questions on it? No.
The way she overlays on the computer when we're looking for like a lot, will it show like reference points, like as far as streets and curb lines to the front? That would help us.
Yeah, I don't, now curb line,
Sometimes it's
curb line
way
might
off.
be a stretch, but street, yes, and the
Okay.
street lines, but where you have a rounded curve, it's probably gonna be
Yeah.
where, I mean, it's gonna be close, but you go, if you're in the interactive and you pull up the pictometry behind it, it's a better look than this.
A lot of times we use this because the numbers are clear, but then you'll be able to see those streets plain when you pull up that pictometry behind it.
And what else are we gonna ask him about that? About the, we was gonna ask him something else, I can't remember right now. I'll think of it.
Now, while we're also doing this, on my side, we'll do a parcel review, a parcel ID review. So as they move to a neighborhood, we'll review every parcel in that neighborhood and be sure, A, it's identified, which we're at. When I started at the CAD, we were at 47%, we're now at 83% map, I think, what I told y'all at the last meeting, something like that. And in town, we're pretty good inside the city limits, but we'll check, and we'll also check to make sure it's the right owner on those parcels, because we have some that aren't, and we have some that are co-owned. It shows one owner, not the other, and so we'll link those up as we clean all this up, so it'll be a good, I think, deep kind of cleanse of the properties inside the city limits, and it's useful. I mean, I think Malcolm speak to.
How close may be to the actual lines? You said it's about 10 foot now.
It'll be inches.
Oh, good.
Yeah, when they get done, they claim 3 inch, but on our pictometry, it's probably more like 6. So that's pretty close.
That'll help us immensely.
Yeah.
Go from feet to inches, won't know that.
Now Rob can make 3 less passes with his lawnmower cutting the neighbor's grass.
And I'm telling you.
Well, it's gonna happen, it'll get flooded with, now that the lines are right, his apartment's on my, on my lot, halfway on my lot.
Yeah.
We have a lot of that. So. Any other questions? There'll be some, I will say, there'll be some things, this is a strange property, because there are no meets and bounds on record. It was actually in the waterway, and the city decided to build a building on it years ago. So we don't know that the city owns that right away because it's there, but it's never been parceled out that we can find. We haven't found it yet. So you're gonna run into some things like that where there's no meets and bounds on record. I mean, we run into that a lot in the county. The ranches that have been in families for years, they never surveyed them. They just flag them. And then you discover fence lines 4 foot off, and 4 foot over 5,800 feet is a little over an acre of property, and it creates about 2 acres of property, creates some hardships out there, and we get to hear about.
I move to approve budget amendment to partner with Stevens County President District to update mapping on the CAD website. Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve a budget amendment to partner with Stevens County Appraisal District to update mapping on the CAD website. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we will vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? The motion passes. We're gonna go back to item number 8, discussion and any necessary action regarding whether the buildings on the 11 properties are dangerous buildings pursuant to Chapter 5, Article 1 of the Breckenridge Code of Ordinances. And if so, discussion and any necessary action regarding issuing orders to abate the dangerous buildings or accepting conveyance of property or properties from owners. Okay.
It's the same type of deal we did back in July.
Yeah, so we're gonna,
And were we limited to only give them like 90 days or something? Remember, we gave a few
Right.
people extensions, but the attorney was there, and I thought she said something.
Right, I
I was
mean,
trying to, that was gonna be my question was, I
What's
couldn't,
our limit on?
yes.
well, you guys can give more, but I think you kind of set the pace.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
90, wasn't it?
Yeah, 90 days. But I mean, you can. But I mean, that's up to you. I mean, I think it's, Malcolm, I don't know where you'll come up or Christie and just talk about just a little bit. I mean, these have been there for a long time, most of these, I mean, years. And so, for a while, we had a good program going and we were regularly bringing these, and you can probably speak to this more if you come up. And then you were in, we have a monofield and then you were gone, and then we had some change in leadership and we kind of lost that momentum. So a lot of these have been in the state for several years.
Yeah, I retired here back in 2014, and some of these were on the list back then. And then, this man here, this is his, he's kept my old stuff. I mean, it's not just totally grown up, but the house is about to fall down. And he said it was.
Yeah.
But, where do you draw the line? It's been 10 years. Is there another 4 months gonna be fine with y'all, or he said he can do it in 4 months, or do y'all wanna say 90 days? I mean, it's ultimately up to you guys.
Well, I think it's instructed to go back to the ordinance. I mean, and just remembering health and safety issues on these homes. If a kid were to go in there, something were to happen. I mean, we're bringing to you things that are dangerous, that are meeting more instances than one.
I couldn't remember if it was.
If people sign it over to us, we can tear it down with the county and put our monofield free, but they lose their lot that way because they signed it over to us. And most people don't want to lose their property.
Right. I just can't remember. I remember us doing it, but I cannot remember if we did 90 or 120. Or if we did like 90 days and then check back.
It was 90.
We didn't do the 20, okay, but it was 3 months and then check back. Or they had to.
No,
it was 3 months.
3 months or
They
nothing.
did it in 3
Because
months.
we demolished one that didn't get done. They ordered 90 days, that didn't get done, so we did go in
And we had another one,
at our cost.
we had another one, and we told him, hey, your 90 days are up.
He's
He
decided-
decided to sign it over now.
Did anyone actually demolish it in themselves within those 90 days?
We had one that's getting it back up to code.
Yeah, one or two of them.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the one that was in the flood zone, remember that one?
Yes.
He did come back with some rules from
He found it
FEMA
with a bolt.
where he was correct.
He found it with a
He
bolt.
can do it because we've ordered him to do it, so he can spend more than the 50%. So we gave him 6 months to get that one.
And another one besides that one?
Yeah, so.
Yes, one on
What's-
West First.
They're mowing it, yeah. No, but we did tear one down, and then like he said, the one's on the list to be torn down too. And then one, the owners decided to sign it to us.
And Eileen has already got the paperwork ready.
Yeah, I'm just
It's all
waiting on him to come
documentation done.
sign,
Okay.
so.
He wasn't gonna do anything with it anyway. And then he had it for 15 years.
In fact, he's an owner of one of these today and he's not here. We'll probably get him to sign that one over to us, maybe.
Because if they don't sign it over, and it ends up us having to tear it down, then we place a lien on the property and they have a lien, then it's a lose-lose for everybody.
Alright.
If they sell the property, well, that lien has to be taken care of, so it's better for them if they can't do it, just sign it over. They lose their property, but they don't have a lien against it, at least that way.
Right.
Mhm.
All right.
Does hearing any of that change your mind at all? Or does hearing what we've spoke about change your mind at all? Or do you still want the 90 days?
No, if 90 days is all I've got, well then I'll just have to get done in 90 days. And, I don't, does that mean completely cleared everything?
That's-
Does that be the,
That's kind of, I mean, I don't know that there's any type of an exception for extension or anything, I don't know if that's in our ordinance. That we have it.
in other words, if you get it down where it's not a dangerous structure, would it?
Well, we'll be in violation of TCQ.
If you just left
If
it
we leave
there.
the house laying down, that's a TCQ violation, and you will be fined for that. And they can fine them, I think it's $1,000 a day, up to $1,000 a day for
So
that.
no, it would have to be torn down and disposed of.
I mean, if it's tore down and you're moving it actively, that's one thing, but if you just tear it down and leave it in a pile,
Yeah, well, I'll be working.
yes, sir.
Trying to get going, but, we're looking here, last October, And we don't know what November, December, January weather's gonna be like. But we know that we have had some bad weather, you know, in November and through December. And so that's why I think, fair weather, you know, 90 days will be plenty ample time to get it completely cleared up.
And if you contact us and call us, and we see some major ice storm that's happening last the whole week, we'll understand that. I mean, there's nothing anybody can do. We'll understand you can't work that week on it or something.
I don't know about that. You're kind of a slave driver.
Well, it's not me, it's the boss over there.
No, it's all good.
But,
Yeah, and going back, I mean, I understand it's a difficult situation, but I mean, it's really just reminding ourselves that it's a dangerous situation, and if something were to happen, that's on us. And, you know, I know it's, 90 days is actually, I mean, if you're gonna demolish a structure, I mean, and you've got people doing it, it's gonna take, you know, 1 to 5 days to do that. Obviously weather dependent, but you've got, I mean, in 3 months, you should be able to get that down.
All right, so we'll look at 308 South Pecan.
I say 90 days, especially since if he keeps it mowed and stuff, and then that's, more than a lot of people can say.
So we need a motion on the,
I'll
on the
move,
90 days.
I move to declare 308 South Pecan a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 90 days.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to declare 308 South Pecan a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 90 days. Any further discussion? There being none, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. 308 South Pecan, 90 days. Thank you. We appreciate you coming. Thank you. We appreciate that. All right,
No caller.
next. Next item is going to be 806 South Cutting.
There were no speakers on.
No speakers for 806 South Cutting.
Right.
Apologize, those addresses are so old.
You move to declare 806 South Cutting a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days.
Second.
Move the second to declare 806 South Cutting a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. 806 South
Yes,
Cutting.
we can turn the picture, they can see there, that's our.
Next property, 601 North Harvey.
That doesn't look that bad from this angle, but the whole back side of that thing's falling off.
I move to declare 601 North Harvey a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days.
Second.
Moved and seconded to declare 601 North Harvey a dangerous building. Order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days. Is there any discussion? No discussion. We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. 601 North Harvey, 30 days. It seems like I'm doing stuff a little different than what Mayor Sims does. I'm sorry, I'm a product of FFA chapter conducting. Number 3 in the state.
30 years ago. You have to do it 40 years ago. I think it's 30 years ago.
He just say he was a second loser.
I might need a recess for a gavel. For a gavel tapping here. See, now, man. It's fun. Okay, gotcha. Now, that's kind of like Bob. You know, this is fun. Bob is good. All right, 1305 West First, we did not have any speakers.
I
Go ahead.
I move to declare 1305 West First a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days.
Second.
Moved and seconded to declare 1305 West First a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it. 1305 West First within 30 days. Next one, 205 West Third. No speakers on there on behalf.
I move to declare 205 West Third a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days.
Second.
Moved and seconded to declare 205 West Third a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days. There any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, none. Ayes have it. 205 West Third, a dangerous building. 30 days. Next item is the 802 South Cutting. And yes, we have to do those separately. Yeah, so 802 South Cutting. And Ms. Robertson said she could have those cleared. Only thing is it's gonna be within the 90 days.
I can do that.
Is that
And
okay?
my- Yes, my stepson does live across the street. We do he keeps the 714 address mode, but he wasn't for sure on the 802 because he
It
was,
was mowed the other day.
okay. So that's part of it, but yes, I can have that done within 90 days, I guarantee it.
Okay,
It will be done.
802 South Cutting and separate motion, so we're.
I move to declare 802 South Cutting a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 90 days.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to declare 802 South Cutting a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 90 days. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it, 802 South Cutting, 90 days. Next one, 714 South Cutting.
I move to declare 714 South Cutting a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 90 days.
Second.
Moved and seconded to declare 714 South Cutting a dangerous building in order the owner to demolish the building within 90 days. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it, and 90 days for 714 South Cutting.
Thank you.
Robin, thanks for coming.
Thank
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, next one's gonna be 1107 East Williams.
This week.
Okay, so we want to, she said she had an application and she just didn't get it turned in on time. Is there a reapplication process?
Well, the thing is, she's cleaned it up. But since then, see that peak on the front porch on there?
Yes,
That entire roof structure is gone on the front. I don't mean just the decking, I mean the bracing. And it's getting to the point where it's gonna be a dangerous building, it's gonna fall in on itself. And we caught some workers over there last week. We asked them, what are you guys doing? Y'all demolishing? And they said, we're just cleaning up. We don't know. And we said, y'all need to get a permit. Tell us what you're gonna do. We've never got a clear answer.
She did come and get an application from me because we've dealt with this since I think last fall, but never returned it. That's fine. And just never returned it. And so we just kept,
Yeah.
There was a
Yeah,
translation issue. It's a translation issue. But it went from a substandard structure. It's getting to the point, they took all that bracing out, it's gonna fall in on itself if they don't do something fairly quickly. And it can't go on, cause we get good snow, that house is the roof is gonna fall in.
yeah.
If you will drive by, it's behind Dr. Goodall's house.
Mhm.
So on this one, the 90 days, if you wanted to be consistent, normally a building permit is good for 6 months. But given the condition of the house, that's something that y'all have to consider. Meaning that they could get it remodeled in 90 days, and they could if they got somebody on it, but I mean. That's, I think what he's saying is, I mean, it really, time is of the essence, because if it falls in on itself, you know, before then.
How long has it been vacant?
¿Cuándo lo compraste?
En 2000,
And now vivido ahí?
no,
Since she bought it, nobody's lived in it.
Okay. Is there plans to remodel, to try to remodel and fix it up?
yeah. Lo de adentro todo está bueno, mira.
Pero ellos tienen el roof. Porque ya se está cayendo.
No, yo
So that,
quería
that top part that you're talking about, Malcolm, is gone now?
It's just a big hole. You see the ridge gap down there
Yes.
and this edge on the front, everything else is a big hole. There's no bracing, nothing in there. It's completely big open.
Pero no debía de ser malo.
And she has to understand, we try to tell her, you know, you need to get electrical contractors, do electrical work, plumbers. I think she's been getting like family members and they're tearing it up more than they're fixing it, from what I can tell. I mean, who would take all your framework out of there like that?
Yeah.
And she needs to be made to understand, she needs to get a contractor to do it right and legally. Cause we'll have to
On
expect,
her,
she can't get just her cousin that says I mean, she's gotta get done right, cause she'll have to get electricity and inspections done on it and stuff. Plumbing inspections,
Have to be done according to.
yes, according to the code.
tú vas a tener que tener plomero.
Mi esposo hace todo eso.
Pero tienen que tener licencia para hacerlo.
Cobra mucho. Ya investigué, dígale, 22,000, 24,000 tal.
Pero
It
That's-
really went from bad to
everything-
worse.
Okay, just the structure, everything else is good.
It's
Just
cleaned
the
up.
structure.
Yeah, it's cleaned up. It had a lot of trash around it. It's clean. But now it's getting to the point it's gonna fall on itself if it structurally now.
Then you're gonna have more problems.
I wish we had a picture of that one with the building it here.
So I mean, a consideration, an action to take would be to do this same thing 90 days with the understanding that, you know, you're gonna be processing a building permit. But that building permit would be 90 days, normally it's 60, I mean, 6 months.
I would think she'd need a permit like within 30 days. It's like turned in and stuff.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah, no, but I'm just
I
saying.
thought that's what you
But
meant.
what I'm saying, for your guys' perspective, if it's not done within 90 days, then we would move forward with the demolition. But yes, I mean, time is of the essence, we need that building permit, but like you said, I mean, it's gotta be done according to code, because we've got to inspect it.
sí tienes que tener.
Okay.
From what we've seen, the people working on it have done more damage to the structure than they've helped it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just translating.
Yeah, I understand. Yes, ma'am.
Pero tienes que tener.
They didn't even know if they were demolishing it or fixing it. The guys working there didn't know which one they were doing.
Todo, las cifras y todo, tiene que ser
That sounds good.
licenciado.
Okay, so say if,
Licenciado.
O
say we do 90
tiene que
days,
tener licencia.
Licencia.
Ajá.
Ok, dígale que me dé
it falls in.
una chance de 90
We
días.
still have to wait after 90 days.
So you're saying if she gets a
If
90
it continues to get worse.
Ya, necesito 90 días. Mi esposo hace remodelación. Lo que no tiene es licencia para la plomería. Él sabe de plomería. Él me arregló la casa que se me quemó en North Jackson 404. Él me la arregló la traila. No ha habido problema. Y si ustedes me dan una chance de arreglar la casa, porque todo adentro está buena, madera y todo está bueno.
Did she say her husband could do the plumbing?
No,
Okay.
it says the husband can remodel, but
Okay.
he's not a licensed plumber, and that they've
Okay.
redone stuff on North
So she
Jackson.
does know that she needs a licensed plumber.
North Jackson, she's down the city limits over where she.
Right, but she was saying that they've worked on property on North Jackson as well.
Ya, se me quemó la traila, mi esposo la arregló, no ha habido problemas de
de plomería, ni de electricidad, ni de nada. Todo está bien.
Tell me all about it.
Her house, part of her house had burned over on Jackson Street,
Yeah.
and, well, he remodeled all of it.
That's outside city limits,
Yes.
so.
Well, he remodeled all of it, but Jerry Eller was the one that, at the time, did the electrical work.
Deben una chance.
But Jerry Eller's no longer.
Yeah, he's no longer
An
an
electrician,
electrician, yeah,
right.
yeah, but this was a while back, it's been a while back.
So.
We need to get this lady's number, so when we have questions, we can ask her.
So she's just asking for a chance to make it right. Okay.
So would she have to, if,
She was doing 90 days to.
So we will need a building permit,
Mhm.
because there is no electricity, we'll have to do inspection on that before we get it turned on. We're not gonna turn electricity on if it's not safe, it'll burn down.
Exactly.
Yo creo que todos necesitamos una oportunidad de arreglar las cosas. A ver, díganme.
pero lo que tienen problemas es la electricidad.
Yo quiero buscar.
Okay. So,
Make sure she knows everything's gonna have to be done by license
License.
and have to be inspected.
y los ellos tienen que inspectarlo.
She can do the carpenter work, her husband,
Yeah.
but not the plumbing, not the electrical, those.
Entonces,
The AC.
pero no la electricidad y
Ok,
So-
y lo voy a buscar.
For the motion itself, if you guys are wanting to do the 90 days and allow, I think it would still be,
The second
you can do
one,
that secondary one, but,
Order
We just be like specific.
but if the
Say
building's
perfect.
not repaired within the 90 days, that building shall be demolished. So you would do that second one that's written there,
Okay.
if that's what you're
And
saying.
so if everything's not finished, but they're making market improvements and definitely making progress. I don't want to think that we're putting something in an ordinance that they're gonna come and start demolishing a building that's in progress, you know what I mean? Obviously, if we show up in 90 days and there's still a hole in the roof and it's caving in and all that stuff, that's one thing, but if it's moving along.
You say significant progress? Is that?
I mean, like,
Well, I think, I mean,
I know I don't want
I'm
to get in the
listening
weeds,
to what
but,
Malcolm is saying. I mean, you wanna make sure the structure is
Right.
down.
right.
So are y'all saying you want it completely dried in? Where you drive by the street, you can't tell it's even under construction?
That's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying, like,
did
I
you
don't
get
want
there
it,
with some
I don't
place
want it
like
to be
that?
worded. I don't want it
Yeah.
to be worded in a way
Yeah.
that if it's not totally ready and perfect in 90 days, that then we're in a situation where.
I can't
Can
tell
you
you on
put
that
a-
because I have a boss that tells me that what needs to be done. So,
No, I
so I mean,
And so what
Yeah,
I know, that's what I'm trying to pick up the word is so that we're not hamstringing them.
Could we do like a 90 day and then if it is dried in or the roof is fixed, that it's still on a 90 day clock, every 90 days, we have something that either comes.
it will never end.
I don't,
Right,
yeah, I would
exactly.
recommend
So
that
what-
because we've been dealing with this.
I would
since
say we
October
would leave it up to
2022.
the code enforcement officer to say if after 90 days, if it's showing significant improvement structurally to where it's no longer a dangerous building, because that, right now, that's imminent danger
Right.
there. And so, like you said, so from the outside, it looks like it, you've got that sturdy and it's ready to stand on its own.
Can we just say like, be, reevaluated within 90 days?
Or,
I mean,
or
Yeah,
the,
but then they.
or the,
she
or
could
that the
just-
building be structurally sound in 90 days instead of repaired.
Because
Then
then
you'll
they,
get to
then
the
they can just
point-
wait that it's.
Then you'll get to the point they'll just deck it, they'll frame it, deck it, and put some felt paper in, oh, it's good, and that's,
Right.
Yeah.
it's splitting hairs at that point.
Yeah.
But I guess I didn't tell you, just the front half of this was gone, the back half is still there. She just, you know how your truss is, she stuck one side out, the back ones are still there, just kind of hanging. There's nothing there to hold them. That's what, the way I'm telling you why I think
Right.
it's dangerous. I
Right.
didn't make that clear to you a while ago, I don't think.
Okay.
For fairness, we need to do 90 days, in my opinion, but I don't know how to.
I don't know how to word it, but I agree with you.
Well, what did, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
We need to do 90 days in fairness, but I don't know. It won't be able to be repaired within 90 days.
They need to understand that if you give them the 90 days and they put money into this house and it doesn't meet the standards, they're gonna lose out that money.
I agree.
And if it does have to be tore down by the city, there'll be a lien placed on it, and that won't be cheap, cause we have to haul everything out of the way, so we can't put our monofilament unless we own it.
Ok, ahora están diciendo que sí te dan 90 días, pero lo que tienes que hacer es, te digo primero, pero tienen que ir a inspectar a ver si se va a quedar la madera y todo, porque si no pasa inspección, te la van a tumbar como quieran.
Pues yo voy a reemplazar todo.
Y no quieren que gastes dinero si no va a estar bien.
Yo voy a reemplazar todo lo que se necesite. Mi esposo sabe de todo.
I mean, I'm just throwing stuff out there. My question, and I'm just, like I say, I'm turning over every rock just to say we do the dangerous building to demolish or order that the owner demolish the building within 90 days. And say we come up with a building permit, you know, and all of that we discussed, electrical and all that, within that 90 days. Does that, what does that move it to, or is it just in stone and in?
If she gets a permit, it doesn't do any good till she actually does the work.
Gotcha. It's got, oh, when it's finished and inspected.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
I mean, if you guys are struggling with this, I mean, the one thing I say staff maybe could, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but again, move to declare the building dangerous building in order the building be repaired within the 90 days. If the building is not repaired and able to meet the
Minimum standard.
minimum standards, then the building would be demolished. I mean, you could do that, or you could say, I mean, I don't know if you want to allow another 90 day. I mean, like you said, then it's just going to go on and on. I mean, if you did 190 day, that would be 6 months, which is as long as the building permit by our ordinance is good for, is 6 months.
Well, and like I said, this is one of the situations that I hate's a strong word, but dislike, I guess, because we show up and we get this in front of us, but Malcolm and
See and deal with
that, yeah, have dealt with it, so
Yeah.
on a daily basis, so. I mean,
I think we just do 90 days like the rest of them, and he can inspect it day 90. And if he thinks it's actually structurally sound and in the progress of becoming livable, we're good. If not,
And it could
I mean,
be,
'cause that's not fair to these other guys, because in like July, we gave that one guy that had 10 houses, we gave him 90 days.
Yeah.
So, and he said he was gonna repair them all too.
So basically have him inspected at 90 days.
Yeah.
And then make the determination as to that he's.
right, I mean, just according to the.
So do we need to change the wording at all?
No, you would use that second wording,
Okay.
She
repairs
just
with
needs to understand there's gonna be like a deadline, she can't just
Mhm.
kind of fiddle with it, and then, well, you're not really getting anything done, cause
Right.
she's gonna have to actually cruise in there and get it done.
Sí, te van a dar los 90 días, pero a los 90 días los van a ir a inspectarlo. Y ellos te van a decir si todo está bien o.
say your motions.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Pero que de adentro también tiene que estar bien.
Está bien.
think.
Pero comienza a poner el rojo.
All right. Yep. Yeah. I move to declare that the building located at 1107 East Williams, a dangerous building, in order that the building will be repaired within 90 days. If the building is not repaired within 90 days, order that the building shall be demolished. Second, thank you, sorry.
Like, dude, you got one job.
Sorry.
It's been moved and seconded to declare the building located at 1107 East Weed a dangerous building, in order that the building be repaired within 90 days. The building is not repaired within 90 days, order that the building shall be demolished. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. 90 days. Be repaired, not repaired, shall be demolished. There were no 7 days. All right, next one is gonna be 803 West Hullum. Did not have any speakers.
I move to declare 803 West Home a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days.
Second,
Moved and seconded to declare 803 West Hullum a dangerous building. In order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days. Is there any discussion? There being no discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. Ayes have it. 803 West Hullum, 30 days. Next one is 1214 West Fourth. No speakers.
I move to declare 1214 West Fourth a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days. Second.
Moved and seconded to declare 1214 West Fourth a dangerous building. In order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Ayes have it. Motion passes. I was like,
They have it in their back. They got it.
okay, next. Last property, 213 Pembroke. No, it says you sold it in January to some investors, but no work has been done on it since then.
Well, I've just gone by and looked at the outside. I'm assuming that they would start on the outside and not do anything on the inside, but what I would like to say about this house, again, I moved it here from Woodson. So it had to be in pretty good shape to survive the trip. I took out the wiring and the sheetrock after we got it on site and got it put back together and cut it in half. The house is ugly as hell, but it is not unsound. It's just ugly. It was built by a fellow up at Woodson. The floor joists are on 24-inch centers. The wall studs are 24s, and it's sheathed in shiplap siding, wooden siding, top to bottom.
Did the owner, but you're not the owner, you're the lien holder.
I am now the lien holder. I was the owner, but I was also trying to drive a truck over the road, and those two things getting this
But
house
you're not
worked
the
on.
owner now.
No, I'm just the lien holder.
Okay, so did the owner respond?
Yes, she did, and in fact, they took out a building permit, I think early this year, and never returned the application. And she was kind of mad about the whole situation. I think they live in Plano. Is that-
Clean.
Clean, okay. And I thought, she said she was gonna try and be here, so. She still wants to fix it up, is what she told me.
How long has it
They've
been?
never got a permit.
Well,
They just got an
I mean,
application,
she
never
got the
turned it in.
application, never turned it
Yeah.
in. I don't think she did, but even
And they don't
if she
mow it,
did, they
it's
haven't done
way deeper
anything.
than that now, and it's, the people across the streets, there's families and skunks living in there and stuff, they say it's starting to get run over by probably rats, who knows?
I mean, no one's ever lived in, I mean,
Yeah, it's just-
obviously.
yeah.
for the-
It may be sound, but it's substandard.
Yeah,
I don't know about the sound, I've never been into the thing, but there's nothing
Well,
hooked up, nothing.
Rodents and skunks,
Mhm.
those things are dangerous, but
last few we tore down, they've been infested with bees. I mean, it could have bees, we don't know, hadn't been in it. But it's another one of those things, it was good intentions, and there it sits.
Right.
After getting it moved in, I put a new metal roof. And, you know, there has been very little work done on it, I will admit. Now, my question, since I'm here as a lien holder, is if you give them a deadline, then do I have to wait until that deadline passes to foreclose if they don't perform?
Our ordinance says if they don't do anything in the time the commission gives them, the lien holder gets another 30 days. To either repair it or, I don't know.
I've probably blown way past my 3-minute allotment, but I do have another question to ask. If this house was, I'll say dried in, the windows replaced, which is one of the reasons why the siding hasn't been put on, and the siding replaced, so that at least it looks presentable from the street. Is that gonna count for anything?
Well, every time we have to mow that, we have to pay for it and we put a lien on it too. So if you're the first lien or the second and third.
So first thing needs to be done is the lot needs to be mowed, correct?
On a regular basis, but yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's not the only thing. I mean,
Oh,
there's
I
other
understand.
things.
We can send them a letter on the grass.
I think they
If
noticed
they
it once.
mow the grass,
That the
and
very
they'll
first-
send the letter on the substandard part of it, and we never heard from them until they got the notice to come here, then they got scared and decided to call us.
My bike lot park, that's right down the street from where I used to live.
I suppose it doesn't have water or electricity.
No utilities.
No,
And our ordinance does, basically what you would have there, if you left it like that, would be a storage building. Our ordinance doesn't allow a storage building on a house, I mean, a lot without a house.
Right.
I mean, it's just, you know, it's a hard, we don't let people come in and just put up a barn on a vacant lot in the city. Or a workshop or a barn, because it's not allowed. And it may be sound, I don't know that, but all you have there is a shell.
So if we give him 90 days, and then at that point, he gets it for 30, gets another 30 days
Correct.
to do what exactly?
either repair it or whatever, or demolish.
Or take it home. Well, with the owner not being here, I don't think there's a reason to give them 90 days. If anything, I'd rather give him an extended amount of time after it reverts back to him.
So you're saying like give the owners 30 days?
Give him 30, and then if we could, give him 90 since he's here trying to make it.
I was through with this when I sold it.
Well,
Dang.
I mean,
But you
it
Because
presents a legal.
Here, when did you move here, in 2015,
Oh, no, it hasn't been that long.
Hasn't been
It's
that
been a
long.
long time. It was April of 2018.
2018,
That's when
and,
it got
and
there.
he, you know, he sold it this year, so from 18 to 23, he didn't do anything with it then, you know, so.
Well, I was trying to balance driving over the road with, finding people to work on the house that I could trust when I was out of town. That's a tough job. I found one fellow I thought I could trust, and he may have spent half a day on the house based on the amount of work that was done, because I went over and completed some of his work. And he sent me a bill for over $500. So I, you know, that wasn't gonna work either. And that, again, that's one of those reasons why I sold the house, because I couldn't do both. So I thought the smart thing was to get rid of it, sell it to somebody who's in the business, who will do what needs.
And we have reputable people here that may want to buy it and build, because it's in a real good neighborhood.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, we do have somebody that would get it done. But we can't limit ourselves to, you know, that's not our business.
So if we do 30 days, he still gets 30 days at the end of it. 9 days, and 30 days at the end of it.
And when you get it back, if you call us, we can give you some names. They're looking for stuff like this all the time. They ask us to tell them about them.
But I understand, I appreciate that. No,
But then really the question is, because he's gonna get 30 days regardless, do we give these people who aren't here 30 days or 90 days? 30. And 30 days. I'll be here sooner than you
Or
are.
if you give them 9, it gives them longer to start lining somebody up, because he knows he's gonna have to.
That's true too. We give them 90, he can start his work now, knowing that if they don't perform.
well, since I'm not the legal owner, no, I
Yeah,
can't
but
do
he-
anything.
Well, no, not physical work. I mean, like figuring out like, oh, this is some people that would.
Well, I've already put out some figures, because I just have, I need this school south.
Well, this is 30 days.
Yeah, I don't know. If that makes sense.
I mean, that's 30.
I move to declare 213 Pembroke a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days.
Second.
We moved and seconded to declare 213 Pembroke a dangerous building. In order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote.
May I ask another question before you vote?
Well, you gotta, I mean, you need to finish the motion and,
Oh, okay. Whatever, Robert.
It's already been voted on.
oh, okay, you were moving on?
Yeah,
We're fixing to vote.
oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I was straight in the motion. Is there any, moved to declare 213 a dangerous building in order that the owner demolish the building within 30 days. Is there any discussion?
Well, what I wanted to ask, and this is just ignorance on my part. If they don't take any action on that in 30 days, before I can do anything, then I have to go through the foreclosure process.
Well,
I
we're
don't
not
know.
qualified, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna jump in, but we're not qualified to answer a legal question. That's a
No,
legal
what my
question.
question is, then will I be granted enough time to go through that process so that I can then again become a legal owner before the house has to be demolished?
Well, I'd like to have, you guys, before you answer without having legal advice, to have, Eileen give you some legal information before you answer that question. Because there are legal issues. I mean, he's not, I understand what you guys are saying, but he's not the legal owner. And so
Okay, so,
I'll have Eileen here, and we'll get her involved in it.
okay. So we'll follow through with this, but she can still answer our questions.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, just call back in a couple weeks or so.
Any further discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Have it, motion passes. Okay. Number 10, looks like there's no action on number 10.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, number 11. Discussion and any necessary action regarding award of public works facility RFP.
So we put out a request for proposals, and of course, we advertised, we did contact a few folks, as well. We got one bid from Donnie Sechrist, you have that, in your packet. So staff is asking for consideration of awarding the bid to the lowest and best, which is Donnie Sechrist.
I'll move to approve awarding the public works facility RFP to the lowest and best bidder, Dolly Seekers.
Second.
We moved and seconded to approve awarding the public Works facility RFP to the lowest and best bidder, Donnie Secrets. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, ayes have it. Donnie Secrets wins the bid. Number 12, discussion and any necessary action regarding mobile food truck ordinance update.
So you guys had asked me a while back, and I'm sorry it took a little bit longer than I thought, but, so this is basically an update to the ordinance that just processes these requests in-house, as long as they're meeting the said requirements. You know, we had that kind of situation with, the slow never bike ride, for example. Now there were some others, so some of the action, I don't want to go into the detail because it's kind of convoluted, but what happened was in a previous ordinance update, this ordinance update will also fix a mishap with the previous ordinance update. If you read the back, you'll see that. So essentially what you're doing is updating chapter 13, 70, section 76, where those would be processed in-house. As long as they meet the requirements that we have.
I'll move to approve ordinance 23-18 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve ordinance 23-18 as presented. There any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Motion passes. 13, discussion and any necessary action regarding partnering with Stevens County and the Chamber of Commerce for the first annual Family Fall Festival. Can't say that very fast.
I know, we're gonna have a contact on that, amazingly enough, no. So you can see the map there, this is, the roads that would be closed, for this, and, you know, there'll be vendors and, trunk or treats, Halloween costume contest, the county and city employees will be decorating pumpkins, and then the public will get to vote on them. At the event, and we'll put them online as well, and they can have vote on the winning pumpkin. And yeah, I mean, you know, there's this is a partnership with the chamber and the county, and really just bringing people downtown for an event. And I know there's a lot of other events going on. This would be 3 to 7. So I envision it's probably going to be busiest between, you know, 3 and 5:30. And then some of the other events that are going on town, but, yeah.
I move to approve Family Fall Festival and associated city street closures. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve Family Fall Festival and associated city street closures. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Move to approve. Oh, sorry, the motion passes to approve the family call. And Bob wimped out on all this stuff. Yeah, tired of reading. I feel like when Mr. Edwards' English class over here in Durham. Stand up, Durham. That's what he'd say. Number 14, discussion and any necessary action regarding interlocal with Stevens County for the emergency notification system HyperReach.
So this is an interlocal for emergency notification. Right now we use code red. Basil had been researching this a while back, and we've had several meetings with the county on this. The contract is actually between the county and code red. And that's how this would be between the county and HyperReach. But this program is much more user friendly, and a lot cheaper. So instead of roughly 11, it's roughly 6. And the interlocal current is split equally with the county. And this went through, the county's agenda on Monday.
I move to approve the interlocal agreement with Stevens County for emergency notification system hyperreach and to authorize city manager to execute the agreement.
Second. Moved and seconded to approve interlocal agreement with Stevens County for emergency notification system hyperreach and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, ayes have it. Motion carries. 15, discussion and any necessary action regarding ordinance 2317, temporarily reducing the speed limit for portions of US Highway 180 within the city limits of the city of Breckenridge.
So TxDOT has an improvement project on 180 from Rose to the west, our city limits to the 1 mile bridge. And you can see there in the background information, what this does, it just reduces that speed limit. Anywhere it's 55, it'll be reduced to 45. Anywhere it's 50, it'll be reduced to 40. And then anywhere it's 40, it will be reduced to 30 miles an hour. This project is expected to be let in December and go to construction in March, give or take ish, TxDOT-ish years, no months. It's estimated to be a 4 to 5 month project. And essentially from Rose Street to McCamus, it'll be milling and going back with a 2-inch of hot mix. And then from McCamus to Sunset, it'll be milling 7 inches and going back with 7 inches of hot mix. And then from Sunset Street to FM 39, 12-inch pavement repairs in locations that are bad. And then these limits will be seal coated during the summer seal coat program. And then from 99, excuse me, to the mile long bridge of milling 2 inch to 7 inches, depending on the location. And then again, going back with a 2 to 7 inch hot mix. A lot of construction, that open house, I've asked TxDOT to be there, and really it's just gonna be, maps and project fact sheet, just letting people know what's going on, and we've got several projects we'll talk about, but it's good news. We're gonna get a better road out there, but it'll be, the good news is Heaven is freshly hot mixed asphalt, and so is Elliott. So they do have alternate routes.
That'll probably be finished before 183.
That may well be true.
I move to approve ordinance 23-17 as presented. Second.
Moved and seconded to approve ordinance 2317 as presented. Is there any discussion? No discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I'm sitting there looking at that and I'm just like, anytime you have any kind of speed reduction, I just kind of bristle.
Well, it'll be lane reduction too, that's one of them.
Well,
I
ain't afraid to merge. All right, number 16, discussion. Any necessary action regarding the optimum contract.
So these next 2 items go hand in hand. And I believe I've provided kind of high level updates, but what this is just going through the budget, looking at our telecommunications and internet. We have just not had consistent service. And so what this project does, Optimum actually is investing quite a bit in the infrastructure to get us fiber. And you can see the background information there. It would be, we do have redundancy with New Source Broadband. but this would cover our facilities with fiber and, would allow us to go to, voice over internet, phones, which is the second item, the next item. And so it is gonna be a little bit more expensive, so instead of 41, instead of 35 annually, roughly 35,000, it'll be 41 with the Optimum and the Spectrum VoIP. But we will have much more reliable internet. You've seen where the police department's been out. Our system here is slow. There's times when we're waiting, for the court to speed up, so it would definitely increase our productivity here in City Hall. And in all our departments, actually, excuse me. So the contract, we are still working on that, so if this is something that you support, they go hand in hand. I just want you to understand that we have to have reliable internet to have voice over internet phones. Right now, our phones are obsolete, and they're just very old.
I can't talk on mine without being on speakerphone, if that makes it.
Yeah,
It's fuzzy and I can't hear you, so I close my door to speak.
Right, yeah.
And you discussed this with Toller, is that the
Yes,
company?
they've been involved
Are
in.
they
with
gonna
it.
have to upgrade any other equipment, and is that included in in their
Yes. yeah.
contract?
No, they're not, but it is.
Okay.
They've reviewed it all. They've been
Okay.
in the meetings that I've had with Optimum and with the VoIP.
Okay,
Yeah. So,
that's some of the issues we ran into, we upgraded to fiber and we're still waiting on our equipment to connect into it for the school district,
I know, and then
it's
I
just the
had
lead
that
times are awful,
conversation with you, yeah.
so. But.
What, yeah, who is the contractor for your VoIP?
We are currently using, on job or go-to is what they're called.
Okay,
But as soon as the rest of our stuff is kind of bottom shelf right now, but we're looking to move to something different. And actually, I talked with my network admin about the VoIP stuff that y'all had, and they said this is real similar to what we're looking at doing.
yeah.
So it's.
And I did this, I will say, I did the same thing in the city I was at before I came here. And I told them my concerns because there were, the construction part was rough because they used a third party. It was CenturyLink actually at that point, but they used a third party contractor to do the construction. And it's not just construction, it's engineering, it's, all of that. And so over my head, but we had problems, and so we talked with them about that. And they feel very comfortable with this provider that the Spectrum people, which we weren't locked into going with Spectrum. We compared the pricing with AT&T, and AT&T, our phone bills are just astronomical because they're trying to push everybody to VoIP. But there were two companies that Toller was aware of. So basically we had four on the VoIP. We had four different prices to compare, and Pathfinder Spectrum was the lowest. And, I'll talk about that later, but they
Well,
worked
it's
pretty
good that you'll have
seamless.
one person to talk to or one company.
Yeah,
And plus those, the phones that you're looking at getting are good because like you're saying, you have to have speakerphone for yours now. Well, now you'll have the option of that or a Bluetooth headset or a hands. There's a lot.
well, and voicemail to email,
Are y'all gonna use it for paging?
we can,
We can transfer between.
You'll just need to
buildings, too,
check
don't
your,
we?
make sure you've got like multicast on your network so that you can do two-way basically.
Yeah. yeah. So,
And I was asking Jessica earlier about like battery backups too, because that's the other consideration. When you move to VoIP, you've got to make sure that you've got consistent network.
yes,
Cause if power goes out and you lose phones and then there's emergency, you gotta have that redundancy there too, so
yeah,
make sure Toller hooks you up there. as well.
yeah, we discussed that. Mhm.
Okay. Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And that's why they go in.
Our internet
Yeah,
goes down, we're doing, like, phone and everything.
Yeah, the center warehouse.
Yeah. Women at work.
Oh,
So, all right,
I move to approve, authorizing the city manager to finalize and sign a 5-year contract with Optimum for internet services. Second.
it's been moved and seconded to approve authorizing the city manager to finalize and sign a 5-year contract with Optimum for internet services. Is there any discussion? Our discussion will proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, ayes have it, motion passes. Number 17. I'll read it, but we kind of know. Excuse me, discussion and any necessary action regarding spectrum contract.
Move to approve authorizing the city manager to finalize and sign a 3-year contract with Spectrum for voice over internet protocol phone system. Second.
We moved and seconded to approve authorizing the city manager to finalize and sign a 3-year contract with Spectrum for voice over internet protocol phone system. Is there any discussion?
Only thing I will let you know, I mean, I am working with the attorney, you know, having her review the contracts, so. Not just me.
Yeah, well, that's funny. So,
We need those attorneys.
yes.
Any discussion, any other discussion? Proceed to vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, ayes have it. Motion carries. Next item, looks like we will go into executive session. I don't have the big long thing.
Yeah.
So it looks like we will enter in executive session at 7:23.
Okay.
I'm scared, like,
You're on now.
I'm already shaking. Okay, we'll come out of executive session at 8:17. Officially.
I move to approve Andy Rogers' bid for the American Legion. And authorize the city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of the property. Second.
Been moved and seconded to award Andy Rogers the American Legion building and to authorize the city manager to execute all agreements and everything. Is there any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carried.
I move to approve Trey McDuff of New Destination Church bid and on the property at 210 North Smith. And authorize city manager to finalize and sign all documents necessary to finalize the sale of property. Second.
Removed and seconded to award Trey McDuff the property at 210 North Smith and authorize the city manager to sign all documents and execute all agreements for the sale of the property. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Is there any requests, members or staff or items to be placed on the next meeting agenda? I don't have anything. I just want to make the statement that I think that our city is headed in a great direction. Appreciate everything that our staff members from top to bottom do for us every day here in the community of Breckenridge. Their efforts are to be commended. With that being said, we adjourn.
8:15.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks, yep, good job. Mike, it's anybody, you too, man.